And happy weekend to all. Welcome to the program that analyzes the week that was and helps position you for the week ahead. I'm Maria Bartiromo. American energy dominance at risk if Kamala Harris wins the White House, vowing to continue Biden's failed green energy push.
We must tackle, obviously, the climate crisis with bold action and ambition.
We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America and, by extension, the globe around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. As vice president over the last 4 years, we have invested $1 trillion in a clean energy economy.
Yes, but it is everyday Americans who are being saddled with the high costs of oil and gas, the overall price of energy up 31% since Biden took office and began pouring hundreds of billions of taxpayer dollars into wind and solar projects, pushing electric vehicles, limiting federal drilling permits and fracking. The House Budget Committee holding a hearing this week on these failed energy policies.
It's very simple. When you shackle the most cost-effective and scalable source of energy, fossil fuels, and you subsidize unreliable solar and wind that wouldn't otherwise be competitive, energy necessarily becomes more expensive. And it gets worse. Since energy is the industry that powers every other industry, government-dictated green energy drives price inflation.
All of the burden is being carried by low-income and middle-class families. 25% of households have to forego food and medicine to pay their energy bills. The only thing the federal government needs to do to ensure real energy abundance and affordability is stay out of the way.
Joining me now is the chairman of the Budget Committee, Texas Congressman Jodey Arrington. And Mr. Chairman, it's great to have you this weekend. Thanks so much for being here.
Good to be with you.
I want to get your take on these policies because a lot of people have focused on the fact that Kamala Harris has flip-flopped on fracking. But fracking is such a small part of all of this. An administration can truly slow down oil and gas production through lease policy, pipeline regulations, LNG plant licensing. This regulatory backdrop is what is the problem, not necessarily just fracking. And we don't know if she actually will ban fracking at the end of the day anyway. Can you walk us through the impact that you've seen as a result of these policies of the last 4 years of the Biden-Harris administration?
Well, you're right about that. It's not just banning fracking, and it's not just the direct assault. It's direct and indirect, and it's a whole of government systematic attack on oil and gas, which is 70% of the what's driving our economy and heating and cooling our homes. And it's everything like you mentioned, from permitting key infrastructure, pipelines, refineries, export terminals. But it's also mandating electric vehicles. It's also dumping a bunch of tax subsidies for green energy corporations. All of that together has created has been a big part of the inflationary firestorm, right? The gas, the cost at the pump, the cost to heat and cool people's homes. And it's a huge drag on the economy because every business and manufacturer, one of their biggest increases in input cost is energy. So as we are sort of teetering on a downturn and potentially a recession, a lot of that is because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have their boot on the back of the U.S. oil and gas industry, which has been a blessing not only for national security, but for economic strength and for low consumer prices. And we've got to reverse that.
Yeah, and layer on top of that the potential for a strike at the docks. Supply chains are bracing for impact as dock workers prepare to go on strike along the East Coast. 3 dozen ports, including your state of Texas, as early as October 1st. This move could cause major disruptions to the flow of goods into the country. 43% of imports go through these ports, Congressman. Here's what the president of the National Association of Wholesale Distributors told me this week. Watch.
As we are approaching the Christmas holiday, there are enormous amount of goods that are coming and flowing to the United States. They're going to have no option but to stay offshore. If you shut down for one day, that the ports are going to remain closed for 3 to 5 days, that looks like an impact of about $3.7 billion to the American economy every single day.
You know, the Federal Reserve has been trying to rein in inflation, but if this strike happens, inflation comes big time again. The Retail Federation, along with a coalition of more than 170 trade groups, are urging President Biden to step in to avert a potential strike. But the White House says he won't get involved. Should the president get involved? And what are your thoughts on this potential strike?
I don't think he's going to add any value to this. I think what he's done is created this as one symptom of a terrible economy and a cost of living crisis. People cannot afford to pay their bills and take care of their families. I think this is, again, just one symptom in one part of the country where people it's unsustainable when you're losing $1,400 a month for the same goods and services you were paying before the Biden-Harris administration. Real wages have gone down. The APR on credit cards is on average over 20%. We've got the highest level of consumer debt in our history, over $18 trillion. So people are in a really bad way. And they're there because of the policies that created this supply-demand imbalance and lit the flame on inflation and historic hikes in interest rates and have made it untenable, simply untenable for working families to survive.
Yeah. Well, look, now there's this deadline that we all are watching. House Speaker Johnson's stopgap spending bill failed in the House this week. It would have funded the government for the next 6 months and required proof of citizenship to register to vote. But I know your colleagues on the left won't hear of it. Now the U.S. government risks a partial shutdown if this bill isn't passed by October 1st. Can you tell us where things stand?
Well, it's unfortunate that we couldn't put the Democrats on record, at least, with respect to securing elections. We know they don't want to enforce the laws, the immigration laws of our land to secure the border, but it turns out, if you look at the House vote, they don't want to enforce election laws to safeguard elections. And this would have put Chuck Schumer in the Senate on record and exposed them for the whole country to see what their real motives are for this open border and amnesty and citizenship for people, the millions of people who flooded into this country under the open borders czar Kamala Harris. In my home state of Texas, Governor Abbott just purged illegitimate voters to the tune of 1 million, and there were people who were here in this country illegally in that tranche. We've seen it in states like Virginia, in cities like Washington, D.C. So, no, I think it's critical that every American citizen's vote counts. It's critical to restore confidence in our elections after 2020. It's critical to have the peaceful transition of power and give American people the optimism that it was a fair, accurate, and legitimate election. And I'm not certain. I don't think anybody is. And that's why that measure was so important. And that's why we've got to find a way to build consensus. Trump wanted it. Our speaker wanted it. But we've got to find a way to build consensus and drive that issue into the Senate before the election here in another less than 50 days.
Yeah. All right, Congressman, we'll be watching your work. Thanks very much.